This is not a job interview.
Yeah.
This is hell.
This
is going to destroy the ability of good people to come forward because of this crap. To my Republican colleagues, if you vote no, you're legitimizing the most despicable thing I have seen in my time in politics. You want this seat? I hope you never get it. I hope you're on the Supreme Court. That's exactly where you should be. And I hope that the American people will see through this charade.
Senator Lindsey Graham, South Carolina, one of the most powerful moments of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation hearings last year. Well, the left is still not done smearing Justice Kavanaugh. He joins us now. He is the Senate Judiciary Committee chairman. That was one. Listen, I've known you a long time. I think that was your finest moment, and you've had a lot of good moments over your career.
Thank you.
But you now see it doesn't stop. And even Dick Durbin said this idea of impeaching this. What is your reaction to the Times? Because it's no different than what happened that day than you spoke up.
Well, when you think you've hit bottom, you really haven't when it comes to Trump. It's not really news that the New York Times did a sloppy job reporting about Trump and Kavanaugh because they're so biased. But what is news to me is that two United States senators running for president have called for Kavanaugh's impeachment based on an article in the New York Times that's bogus. And a member of the House has introduced an impeachment resolution of Judge Kavanaugh based on a erroneous, scurrilous New York Times story. So here's what I want you to know. Any impeachment of Judge Kavanaugh based on the New York Times story is dead on arrival in the Senate. Any impeachment of President Trump based on the Mueller report is dead on arrival in the United States Senate.
Well, let me ask you, because this now dovetails into other issues here. Journalism's dead. I expect this now of the New York Times. They have no credibility. It's not even worth the paper it's printed on at this point. And actually, the irony is they need Donald Trump more than he needs them.
Probably.
Which is interesting. But, you know, I get a little antsy waiting for this Inspector General report, Senator. I'm getting a little antsy whether or not they're going to conclude what I know to be true. And that is that those 4 FISA application warrants were full of lies that they were warned about. Russian lies that Hillary paid for. The bulk of information, a famous memo was put out, has your name on it. And what I'm concerned about, I want to hear in no uncertain terms, those warrants were illegally obtained. Do you think I'm likely to hear that?
You know, I really don't know. Horowitz did a good job, I think, when it came to the Clinton email investigation. He's not a prosecutor. He doesn't have the ability to subpoena and interview witnesses outside of the DOJ or the FBI. But here's what I do believe. I do believe the warrant process was abused. And not only do I hope he will tell us that it was off the rails, I hope the FISA court will take the report seriously. I'm looking for the FISA court to clean this mess up. If the court doesn't take corrective action, why should we trust the court in the future? I'm looking for Durham to hold these people accountable if they did, in fact, take the law in their own hands. I'm not looking to prosecute somebody because I don't like them. I'm trying to make sure this never happens again.
Let me use your lawyer's brain here. If you're warned ahead of time that the dossier is Hillary, she paid for it, that the guy that authored it hates Trump, and you're also warned that it's not verified, not once, but on probably at least 4, and I have a source telling me 5 or 6 times they were warned, that is premeditated. Then, if you didn't take the time to verify it yourself, now we know it's unverifiable. Then the FBI, when they finally got around to verifying it after some of the warrants were already issued, they determined it wasn't true. None of this was true. So that means that a premeditated fraud on a court for the purpose of spying on an individual and denying that individual their rights, Carter Page, but then it's an open door into all things Trump campaign, transition, and presidency. Now, you're the lawyer. Does that, what I just described, sound like crimes to you?
Well, it sounds horrible. If we legitimize this, then God help us all. If we legitimize the fact that the Department of Justice and the FBI...
I'm not trying to be a pain in the neck, but does that not sound... If I go before a court and I lie, and I was told ahead of time what you're telling the court is a lie.
That's a crime. Yes, it's clearly a crime if you give false information to the court. But I'm not a prosecutor. Horowitz is not a prosecutor. We're going to leave that up to Durham. But here's what I want you to know. Every American should be concerned about the fact that the Department of Justice and the FBI knew that the source of the document had a bias, and they did nothing to ensure the document was reliable. It's not reliable to this day. And if the court doesn't clear this up and take corrective action, then why do you expect people in the future to be deterred? If somebody doesn't go to jail and if the court doesn't hold those who lied to the court accountable, then we will have missed a great opportunity to restore the rule of law.
Well, no, I will tell you, I take it a step further. I think we just might as well shred the Constitution, because that means we have a dual justice system. It would be a bad day
for America to let this crap go unaddressed.
Last question, legal question. If your committee subpoenaed my emails and I decide I'm going to delete half of them, yeah, and then I bring in some computer expert that tells me how to clean my hard drive, wipe it, let's like bleaching it out, and then I have an aide of mine bust up my phones and Blackberries and remove the SIM cards, would you think I'm committing obstruction of justice of the committee and their investigation? And number two, do you think I would not be charged in that case? Because I kind of believe I would, but I'm not a lawyer.
Well, the first thing, if you're at home, don't try this because it will not work out well for you.
It's not going to work out well.
So the bottom line is, if there's no consequences to taking a hammer to a device being asked for by Congress and bleaching out information Congress wants, then what's the downside to lying to Congress and obstructing justice when it comes to Congress? This is a very big deal. I have a lot of faith in Horowitz. I have a lot of faith in Durham, a lot of faith in Barr.
All right.
And I sure as hell have a lot of faith in me. We're going to get to the bottom of what happens.
These guys work very fast. I mean, I work 16 hours, 17 hours a day, and I'm like, where's the stupid report by this time? I'm getting a little impatient here.
I'm not worried about when it comes out. I'm worried about what's in it when it does.
All right. I know you'll do the right thing. Senator, thank you.